JMC Reviews, and after the last episode where we delved into the short film that brought early recognition to the career of George Lucas, I thought we'd take a look at another short film, this time from the early 2000s, and a precursor for what would become one of the most successful independent films of the past 20 years. Today we're looking at Peluca from 2002, written and directed by Jared Hess, before he would return 2 years later with his writing partner / wife, Jerusha Hess, on Napoleon Dynamite.
What are you drawing?
A liger.
What's a liger?
It's like a lion and a tiger mixed.
Jeez.
Now before we jump into Peluca, which also stars Jon Heder before he would come back as the titular character of that latter film, allow me to give my quick thoughts on Napoleon Dynamite. It was a $400,000 indie film in the early 2000s that went on to become a surprising smash hit. It was a story of a very awkward, nerdy kid named Napoleon Dynamite, who doesn't really have much going for him until a new kid named Pedro comes to town and he helps him become student body president, all the while having a kinda sorta relationship with this very shy girl named Deb. Meanwhile, his brother busies himself chatting online with what he thinks will be his dream woman, and then their con artist uncle comes to town while their grandmother's recovering in the hospital and causes more trouble than good. It is a very awkward movie and definitely falls into the bizarre category in a few areas, and it's definitely not for everybody. It has a lot of cliches that you associate with some high school films, but it is definitely non-conventional. It never goes too low, staying above a G rating, but never goes too high, staying just below a PG-13. Personally, I enjoy it. It's got a few genuinely funny and sometimes clever moments, and there are some actually touching parts regarding Napoleon and his relationship with his friends. And if you're an indie filmmaker or somebody who aspires to make a movie but doesn't have much to work with, it can serve as an inspiration in the same vein as the original Clerks. But before they made the surprise smash hit, Jared Hess and Jon Heder collaborated on this 8-minute 2002 short film that was shot over 2 days on black and white 16mm film stock on a budget of only $500.
That's such a great deal.
The short was made as an assignment by Jared Hess while attending Brigham Young University, a goddamn Mormon college.
What would you say if someone offered you peace and happiness through all of eternity? Thank you. Have a nice day.
And don't get me wrong, the low budget does show, but before I give my final assessment, let's jump into the short. Peluca opens with a Napoleon Dynamite prototype named Seth, played by Jon Heder, getting picked up for school. Despite being in high school, the only other people riding the bus with him are a couple of 8-year-olds. Weird.
What are you going to do today, Seth?
Whatever I feel like I want to do. Gosh.
Seth takes out an action figure wrapped in 100 layers of string and, for some reason, throws it out the bus window, watching it get dragged through the dirt. I guess he's determined to make sure his toys get fucked up beyond repair.
He tortures toys just for fun!
While in class, Seth is bullied by a snot-nosed little cunt named Randy, played by Bracken Johnson.
You're bugging the heck out of me. Gosh.
Look, Spadine, I have this little fiber in my head, and when you say stuff like that, it's like throwing gasoline on it.
His friend Pedro, played by Greg Hansen, comes to his rescue. I'm kinda surprised the teacher didn't notice this shit. After giving Pedro props for the head slap like it was the best fighting move he's ever seen, Seth is told that his other Latino bro, Gale, played by Chris Sanchez, shaved his head because he felt hot, but is now too embarrassed to show anybody. Should have thought that one through, bright boy.
Idiot.
Seth convinces him to cut class to go to the Thrift Store where he hopes to get a fanny pack and maybe snag Gale a wig, hence the title, Peluca, which is Spanish for wig. Seth finds out that he's low on cash, so they stop by a gas station to hopefully win money on a scratch ticket. Seth tries to buy one, putting on a very unconvincing adult performance.
I think I'm just gonna buy me one of them lotto tickets. My wife says I gotta stop, but I'm just feeling really positive today.
The funny thing is, Jon Heder actually did just get married the year this fucking short came out.
Lucky.
clerk tells him to beat it. Not deterred, the group sends in Gale on the second round.
Un lotto ticket, por favor. Sure.
Say the word mustache. A mustache, a mustache. Now we both have said mustache.
They arrive at the thrift store and immediately find the perfect wig for Gale.
It's $7.
Seth is blown away by how good the price is.
That's such a great deal. That's awesome.
Seth then sees a fanny pack and eyes it like it's the most delicious ass he's ever seen.
Do you believe in love at first sight?
While fondling the fanny pack, Pedro and Gale fill up the wig mannequin. 'Cause why not? Seth realizes he doesn't have enough cash for both items, so he gives up the pack to get Gale the wig.
Gale, you look like a medieval warrior.
Gracias.
Deciding the wig is fly enough, Seth runs off in the most unceremonious way possible.
See ya.
But to Pedro and Gale, he fucking rocks.
There goes a true hero. Que Dios le bendiga.
The wig appears to be a hit with the ladies. Starting where the short began, after being a prick earlier, Seth gives his action figure to the kid sitting next to him. He seems happy with the kid's reaction. And that's where the 8-minute short film Peluca ends.
Is this all there is?
There really isn't much going on in this short. It's only a brief series of events and half a day of a couple of guys' lives. The lighting, as Jared Hess himself said, is a bit off, and the Seth character, just like Napoleon Dynamite, can be a little off-putting with how aggressively prickish he seems. I can't really say it's that funny as opposed to the 2004 movie, but it is interesting in the sense that you can definitely see a tiny arc here. The Seth character is a bit of an asshole, but when his friends needed his help, he came through, and you saw him being a lot nicer to that kid as opposed to the beginning. So like in Napoleon Dynamite, there is a nice little theme here of a guy learning to support those he cares about. All in all, it's not that memorable, but it's definitely interesting to see where Napoleon Dynamite started and where the inspiration for a much more feature-length story came from. Many scenes here would later be repeated for Napoleon Dynamite. The scratch ticket scene was actually filmed, but deleted, and I admit that probably wouldn't fit in the much bigger movie. Aside from Heder, Breckin Johnson as the bully Randy was the only other actor to return for Napoleon Dynamite, and the characters of Pedro and Gale would eventually be combined to simply Pedro in the full film.
Thank you.
So yeah, not the most impressive short film, but always cool to go back and see where a director gets his start, and I will see you again soon, where we'll be returning to the feature-length movies for the month of October, and I can't wait.
I will be with you until the end.
Yes! 3 spots! That's $10. I picked a good one! Yes!